I'm John Willshire of Smithery, whose core purpose is to make things people want rather than make people want things. So I'm here to talk about Artefact cards, which are a new product I've developed for idea creation, and they're also very good for UX design. And they are paper cards that occupy a space between work and play, so halfway between a post-it note and a playing card. So Artefact cards are made by us at Smithery. We are a marketing and product design studio. And we've been making them for a year, and we've just launched an app to go with them, because the one thing we found was when people designing ideas and sculpting them out, people would say, "Oh, that's brilliant, could you send me that idea?" And you go, "No, because they're cards." So we've developed an app so people can take pictures of all their ideas and then send it as a presentation. No, this is playing cards over here. Over here, probably, I'm projecting player cards. But it's about this sort of like this space between work and play. Because I've run, my background was, I was Chief Innovation Officer at a media agency, and I did loads of workshops. I was fucking Mr. Workshop. I was sort of like, hey, can you come and get lots of people in a room and using lots of post-it notes and putting them on walls and come up with ideas and then framing and then putting them up. Right, fine. But you'd be the guy left with sort of like 16 flip charts full of post-it notes going, can you go and write that up, please? You go, oh, right, but I can't read half the stuff because all the stuff that people write in post-it notes is really sort of like throwaway and cursory, and it's not all the stuff that you need to frame the idea and sort of like capture the idea. So I thought there must be something that's better in that space. I just hate these days. All fucked up. I just hate these sort of like little transitory pieces of paper that people don't care about or regard. It's sort of like, surely if you're making ideas of worth, you should put your ideas on something that's worth something. It gives you that little section more of pause, a little bit of consideration, and it just helps you filter ideas and craft them the way you want to. So I started thinking about sort of like, so what if you wrote down better ideas or the best ideas, or just gave yourself pause? What if the ideas weren't fixed but had that permanent fluidity of playing cards so that you can gather them up and reshuffle them and deal them again, and gather them up and shuffle them and redeal them again? And what if we used things that felt they were valuable? There was some sort of like worth in the artefact you create, in every idea that you create. So I did lots of research around idea craft. And this is generally speaking in strategy and planning, because I started off in a position where I was looking at the cards through the lens of the work that I did. So back to John's point about design a product for yourself, I was looking just at the cards through the lens of what I did. And then I started finding other cultural reference points. And actually, when you get into this fractal paper version of working, you uncover decades and decades and decades of people who have experimented, a lot of artists and a lot of Dadaists, and Burroughs and Cobain and Bowie, and everyone sort of, as always, it's the great Burroughs quote about if you cut into the future, if you cut into the present and the future leaks out, comes from the cut-up technique of taking a set piece of text and then cutting it up and forming something new and you rearranging it. So that constant rearranging of elements of ideas becomes something that always iterates something new and lets you see connections that you couldn't previously see. And what it boils down to, I think, and what the cards are about, so like documents look like this, and ideas look like that. And they're all over the place, and they're sporadic, and each one has a unique shape, and none of them are in the format that Keynote or any sort of like coding problem wants you to sort of like put things in a linear order in. So you've got to start over here. And actually the best way to start over here is creating analog and then editing and publishing digital. And that's why I think, as I've sort of like gone on, I've seen lots and lots of different areas of working where people are using these things to create an analog. So I think the Government Digital Service have a phenomenal amount of digital material around their office because they're sort of like they're creating something and editing and publishing stuff in that digital space. But it's that constant flow and movement around of the physical materials that allows them to do it so well. So you start seeing sort of like lots of functions from lots of different spaces across lots and lots of different industries. So rather than always seeing the cards through the lens of the work that I do, I now find that I'm seeing work through the lens of the cards. So actually I start seeing UX and art and planning and strategy and lots of different people who are using similar and the same techniques to put together ideas in a way that is fit for the internet. Because the internet is it's what Weinberger calls small pieces loosely joined. It's not about the document. It's almost like the internet has allowed you to take a razor blade down the spine of something and endlessly cut stuff up and move it around and shift it around. So that's the way that we have to structure ideas now. So the form of the cards is essentially, it was a weird thing. It's sort of like you start with blank playing cards and you realise that blank playing cards are actually too valuable. People have too much pause about sort of like, oh, I can't write on that, that's just too nice. So you've got to find a paper stock that's just on the right side of valuable so that people don't go, oh, I couldn't possibly write on that. So they are what I fondly refer to as shit ferry playing card stock. So it's that pack of cards you buy on the Channel Ferry where you go, oh, I've forgotten the cards. Well, just buy a pack. We're only here for an hour and a half. Yeah, just buy a pack. I don't mind what happens to them afterwards. And then people started asking, can you do magnetic vinyl ones? I was like, right, okay. Yeah, you know, customers always right and everything. So I started doing magnetic vinyl ones and they were shit. They were awful because sort of like trying to write on magnetic vinyl stuff with white clean markers that size is the worst experience that you will ever have with a pen in your hand. And I did lots of different magnetic versions and I kept trying to do it. And I realised people didn't want magnetic vinyl ones. They just wanted things that stuck on walls. Because lots of people stick things on walls and they have sort of like lots of things visible like that. So actually what we found is the magic whiteboard stuff, which is the static rolls of sheets that you just put on walls and the cards stick to them. So they didn't want to change the cards. We just changed their walls instead. And so there's been an iterative process. So they've been out for a year, and they've always come in the white label Moo boxes. If I can run and get one there. So they've always come in these, which is great because I have this belief that sort of if you're going to build something, it's the Tony Stark school of making stuff. So the Mark I suit, right? The Mark I suit is basically make it like you're trapped in a cave and in 72 hours bad men are coming to kill you. You just have to make do with whatever's around, right? So you just buy white label stuff and you buy stuff off the shelf and you go, I will assemble the thing. Because with Alibaba and with eBay and stuff, there is enough material out there in the world that you can just shove together in a form and you go, that's shit, it's really wrong. But it's wrong in lots of really interesting ways that I can now list. And I will sort of iterate all of those solutions out of the problem and then build the Mark II suit and then build the Mark III suit and so on. So this is going to be the Mark III suit. So it's going to have a nice little cutout in there, and the cutout will also act as a little stand for the cards and so on. And actually I found out that people get this box and then they just sort of like take 40 or 50 out and then carry those around them because that's too many to carry around. So all right, we'll just put them in packs of 52 then because 52 is a fun card number. And then this weekend we released an app as well, because the one thing that was falling down was people going, it's brilliant, I love it. But then people sit down and ask me, oh, that's great, I love that. Can you send me it? And you look at the table and go, it's fucking cards, mate. I can give you it. I can give you it, but then I no longer have it. This is how scarcity in physical stuff works. So all the app does just one really simple thing well. It lets you take pictures of the app and export as a presentation. So you can just sort of, there you go, you can now have the thing. But actually, suddenly it works for Artefact cards, but it works for Post-it note stuff and so on and so forth. And it works for everything. That's kind of me. This was Lawrence with a code to say sort of like go to the website and you can get a little discount on the code. But you can't see it, so you're going to have to guess. But I think Fiona's sending around a thing tomorrow. So we'll do that. I speak very quickly in Scottish. Sorry about that. So I'm at Welsh on Twitter and at Artefact Cards. So that was very quick, wasn't it? Sorry. I've got some things there if you want to come play with them afterwards.
Okay. Cheers, John.
Thank you.